Hello class. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use InputStringStream to get your data. And in some application, it is a more convenient way to get the input from a string buffer rather than the keyboard or from a file. So let's go ahead and take a look at this program to see how it can be done. I want to run this program to see so that you can take a look and see what the input and output looks like. And then we will compare, we will look at the code to see where the input comes from. So let's run the program. Program say enter your first name, last name, and age. And I'm going to enter my first name, last name, age 20, and then they print first name, last name, and age. And I want to enter one more, Alexa, Amazon, and age, I don't know, just enter some random number, 16. And in order to exit the program, I just enter the first name as exit, and the program terminate. So let's line up the code and the output line by line so you can see how it works. Let me point out that in order to use the input string stream, you need to include stream, which stands for string stream. And in this case, we want to get the input, or we want to use the input string stream. So we have to declare a variable. The type is iStringStream, which stands for input string stream. And the variable name is in SS. And all of these just represent, these are the string that represent first name, last name, age, and so on. So let's go to this code to see how that works. The program prompts the user for input. That's what you see right here. Enter first name, last name, age on each line, and exit the first name to exit the program, right? We use a Boolean flag. You notice that we declare this input done as a Boolean data type. Initially, we initialize that flag to false. The while loop says not done. So initially input done is false, so not done is true. So the first time to the loop that condition is true, we are gonna execute the while loop body. We do get line from cin, and we store the entire line into line string. That's what we ask the user to type in, right? So get line, entire line string. So I type in Siri, Apple, and 20. That's what I type in. And the program said copy into the input stream buffer. First of all, we need to clear this input stream buffer to make sure that the stream is empty, or reset the input to the beginning of the string buffer. And then we initialize the stream buffer with the line that we read from getLine. So from getLine, we read the entire line of input we put into this input string. And you notice that we have to call this method or function, and we say, hey, input stream, here's my input line. That's what the user type in. So let's use that for our data. And the next line, line 31, we say input or in SS first name. So did you notice that it is similar to cin into first name, right? So the string right now contains Siri, Apple, 20. We type the first word or the first string and store it into variable first name. That's Siri. And then we check to see if the first name is exit. In this case, it is not. That means this is a valid first name. So this is false, we will not execute this part, but we go to the else clause of the if. The else clause said, read the last name from, again, from this input input string stream, and then read the age from the input string stream. So this is similar to seeing last name, seeing use age, but we get the data from the input string stream. And then we do cout of the value that we read in from the string stream. You see, first name, last name, use age. That's the output from here to here. That's this output. And then where do we go? Well, we go back to the beginning of the while loop. Not input done. We did not change not input done, so input done is still false. Because we didn't go here. So this is still input done, still false. That means not in that input done is true. We continue the loop. And the user type Alexa Amazon 16. That's the line string. And then we clear the previous input because we already finished all the input. And then we said, take that line and put it in the input string stream again. Take that line. This line right now is Alexa Amazon 16. And again, we compare the first name with exit. This is Alexa, so it's not equal to exit. We will not execute this loop, not the if, the two part of the if. So we're gonna go to the else. Else, we read the last name, we read the age again from the input stream. And then we just do cout, last name, first name, and age. That's what you see right here. Last name, first name, last name, and age. Now, the user type, now we go back to here, right? But this time the user said exit. Input done is still false, so not input done is true. So we read get line. We do get line, get string, but the user type exit, and then they reinitialize or clear the input string stream again, and then store the line into the input string stream, and then we say, get the first name from there. Now, the first name is exit. That means we're gonna exit the program, right? So first name equal exit is true. That is true. So we said, all right, cout exiting. That's what you see right here. And change this flag, input done equal to true. We change that flag. So we will not go into this else clause of the if, but we go back to the beginning of the while loop again. Now, input done is true because we reassign the value to here in this condition. Then not input true is false. So if this whole expression or condition is false, we exit the while loop. There is no more code after the while loop, so we return 0. And that's how we exit program. So let's see, I'm going to run this program again. And the first time to the loop, let's say I'm going to enter exit and see what happened. Right? The last time I run, I enter some value, valid value, first name and last name. Last time, this time I say exit. And I pretend that I enter more data to see what happened. And I said, yeah, I do Alexa, for example. And then age 20 and hit enter and see what happened. Well, I enter first name, let's say first name is exit, last name Alexa, and age 20, but the program still exit because it compares the first name with exit. It doesn't care about the rest of the input line because this flag input done is set to true, and that's it. We go back to the while loop and that input done is true, so not input done is false. The loop exit. Even though I type in more data after exit, the program still exit because the first name is exit, and that's how the loop terminates. That's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching.